You've helped me with building bridges that I never thought I could build. You've helped me to reach heights that I never thought I could reach, and such an accelerated amount of time, because I used to do so many things for myself. And now I see that by putting you at the forefront of everything, now all of a sudden everything just makes sense and it clicks. And it's like walking on clouds, because it's like coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. And to a point where it's like my faith has increased now, because everywhere that I was lacking on my decision making, even logically or emotionally, like where I thought it made sense in certain things, and I would pursue it just to find out that I was still wrong. How am I so wrong when I'm making all these calculated decisions? It's still not right. It wasn't adding up. But as soon as I put you first, that's when things started making sense. That's when people were writing me in my comments telling me they loved the content. They didn't like it when I was doing my own content, when I was pursuing the things that I was gifted with by you, when it came to drawing or learning about NFTs at the time, understanding cryptocurrency, that you've given me such a great mind to retain all these things and pursue all of these different things, even being able to make a business and make money and all that stuff. It's cool and it's great, because it's helpful to expand the ministry, because, you know, we live in a fallen world and it takes money to make things happen. I just need some more guidance. I need more wisdom constantly. I feel like that's like the number one prayer. And I feel like I'm always trying to figure out what content is best for the audience. And my audience is fantastic. They like debate content. They like to learn the deep, real stuff that of just about life, you know, scientifically, mathematically, like all the hard questions basically. And I have those same questions too. I think about it all the time. Like I have these internal, deep philosophical questions. Probably the most I ever think is when I'm in the shower or just have alone time in the office. And it's like, when I think about all of these internal questions, I have to realize too that there's probably millions of other people in the world that have these same questions. And that is the building blocks of the success on this channel. It's not anything to do with me. It's to do with, you know, I'm interested in those things because I want answers to them. But I keep seeking, as you say in the Bible, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open. And I've been doing that, and I feel like the doors just keep opening. And it's like I'm mentally, physically, spiritually, I'm getting tired. And it's not because of you, God. It's because this is such a major thing. Like the people's lives are being changed for watching the content. My life, my understanding has grown astronomically since I started, and just unraveling all of these things that you have for me. And if I could think about it just like this armband, 33:3, Jeremiah 33:3, it says, call to me and I will answer you and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not yet known. And it was in that moment that I realized that my own understanding is so finite. It is so small. It is literally looking at life as a third dimensional being in a third dimensional comprehension, that I am looking at life through a very small, dim lit and foggy lens. And I'm over here thinking that I have it all figured out. And I think that's where faith comes in, because it's not me. It was never me. It was never about me. This is not the Jesse story. This is the story where people get saved. People's lives turn around because they know who you are, Jesus. Holy Spirit, that you are the great comforter that can heal the people, heal the nation. Like, this is all real stuff. It's tangible, it's practical, and it can be practiced every single day. And my goal has always been to equip people to understand this truth, to build them up in this truth. And I understand too that people, including myself, like if I'm sitting here watching a sermon for an hour, I'm only picking the highlighted moments out of that sermon. And out of those highlighted moments, I'm only really choosing a few of them to start applying to my life, probably within a 24-hour span. And if I could just be real with you, God, it's like the real lessons are when you are stepping out in faith and putting them into practice. Rather than just hearing it, you have to go out and you have to do it. And it took me a while to really realize that. And it's just like the sun. When the sun rises and the sun sets, it's consistent. And because of the sun's consistency, life can become fruish. It can flourish. There's a lot of fruition that comes with consistency. And it took me forever to learn that because I'm a man that loved to dabble, that tried all these different avenues in life. And I've been so blessed with all of these various gifts. So it was very human of me to start applying these individual, highly specific gifts on their own. And I did gain from them, but it wasn't an everlasting, evergreen gain. It was very minute, small, short, and it grew. And I cultivated the land, the plant grew, and then it shriveled up and it died. And I kept wondering why. And then it hit me that you are the well. You are the refreshment. You are everlasting. And I was so silly and foolish to build all of my dreams on this foundation that I was so limited to, thinking that I had all of it figured out. But as soon as I gave you control, you gave me the best tools. You gave me the best ground to use. You gave me the best words to word. And you gave me this interest. And you gave me this internal feeling to reach and this hunger to reach your people. And it was this flame that I received from you that has not gone out. And I've been doing this for almost a year straight. And every single day, I want to do more. I think about building it even further. And it's like you gave me such a small sliver of the future that you have for me. And now I feel that I'm using all of these gifts, not individually, but all together for your greater purpose. And that was it. That is the ultimate building block for having a well-established empire or a business. And it has nothing to do with me. My family is taken care of because of you. My audience is taken care of because of you. The people in my life, the networking, the building, like I didn't have anything, God. And you know that. I was able to have a meeting with Dr. Kent Hovind. Randomly, someone writes me in an email saying, hey, Dr. Kent Hovind would like to do a podcast. He's more into this podcasting thing. And I don't have any connections to Kent Hovind. I didn't have any connections whatsoever. My phone is limited to only like 4 or 5 people that I will even talk to on a daily basis, let alone having connections that big. And then you presented it in this way, and I was able to have these conversations with Dr. Ken Hovind. His audience met my audience, and vice versa. I'm glad and respect that I was able to do that with Ken Hovind. But it seems like it keeps going from glory to glory, and it is an endurance race. It is truly a marathon. Like I got exhausted when I was doing it on my own, but it feels like it's a marathon, but I have unlimited sprint. As long as I'm hidden and tucked away under your wings, that I can just keep doing this and you just keep supplying the people. It's incredible. Like I've been feeling it on my heart to speak to the lead singer of Five Finger Death Punch. And I was thinking about him for the last couple months, and I just feel that there's something that you need me to speak to with him. Maybe about his family, maybe he's been hurt or something like that. And I just trust you, Holy Spirit, that you're going to give me the right words to say. But I just think it's interesting that I felt him on my spirit to speak to him, but I had no really way or connection to do that. And then little by little, he began to like my post, comment. And today, I thought, I'll step out in faith and reach out to him if he would even like to do a podcast with me. And the answer was yes. And he's ready and he's willing to do it. And, I didn't want to drill somebody with God because I know that he's on his own journey, and I'm not too sure if he believes in you, Jesus, and I don't want to come off too strong or too churchy or too cookie cutter Christian, because I don't feel like that is the way to reach somebody, but rather to be real and honest and just experience the moment together and make it organic and just feel his hurt where he's hurt. Let him speak when he needs to speak and just listen. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with people nowadays is they're so critical when it comes to conversation. People don't listen to hear somebody out. Rather, they're listening just to have a critical response to whatever they just heard, but they're not truly listening. And I think that is one of the greatest gifts that you've given me, God, that is allows me to come off as, and it's true, is authentic and genuine and real, and almost have this like therapeutic type spirit with people. I don't mean to ever judge. I don't ever want to come off sideways. And you've built me into this person that can do that with anybody. And because of your grace and your favor that you've given me, I feel like I can literally reach out to anybody, and you will put them in my path, and you will give them the direction of what they need to be doing. And that's insane, because again, I am not qualified for this job. I don't know all the time what I'm doing. I can try to plan things out. I'll even use ChatGPT to structure things out to make things make sense. And it seems like the more I do that, the more you're like, no, trust me. Read the word, get quiet, listen to me. I will put the people in the path for you. Lately, I've been thinking about reaching out to Eminem, reaching out to Russell Brand. And these are names that, you grew up with these people. These are celebrities. These are people you would never really meet in real life. Like, you might not ever see them in your life before you die. And it's just like, God's just like, nah, that's not how this works. And I just want to thank you for the audience that I have, that even the most angry and aggressive atheist, I want to just pray for them too. I pray that they come to a realization that life is so much more than just arguing or debating or fighting, that there's some realness to this, that there's some tangible evidence. I pray that when they're listening to this, that you just give them the evidence that they need, that once they hear it, once they feel it, once they seek it honestly and truthfully and with a full heart, that they come to know you, and show them through a series of coincidences that they themselves could never deny it, no matter what. Drill them with it, God. Show them you're real, because I know you're real. And what you've taken me out of and applied in my life, I'll never be the same again. You taught me business. You taught me how to be a good husband. You taught me how to work the land. You taught me how to build an empire. You taught me content creation. You taught me all of these great assets and tools, and gave me a great creative and visual mind that I can actually take this and help other Christian content creators do their own work and reach the kingdom even further than I would have. I couldn't do this on my own. And I know that, and I just want to give more than I receive. I don't need finances. I don't need money, because you have supplied all of these things and then some. I've given people value because the value lies in you, Jesus. It has nothing to do with me. And they love it because they love you, and they hate it because they hate you. But I am going to try my best on this life, in my life, to produce the best types of videos and content for your people, because the world is hurting, God. Even the most obnoxious ones I've met and sat and I talked to. You put me in the most crazy and most wild positions I have ever been in my entire life. And I'll never forget the one when I was 14 on that train, and I actually got to speak to a hardcore warlock, witchcraft, hardcore, and he asked me, "What book are you reading there?" And I said, "The Bible." And I'll never forget him looking at me and saying, "You know what? I used to be a warlock, but now, lately, he's changed his life, and he began reading the Bible. And the reason he did is because he said, I always found it interesting that every time I would create these elaborate rituals and do all these crazy summonings and all of these different things, um, that the Bible was always the book of protection. The Bible and what it carried had so much weight behind it that we used it in case things got too real." And that was the moment that that man realized, hey, why am I on the other side? If this book and what this has to represent and the Holy Spirit says is so much more powerful than what I am trying to conjure up over here. And it was that moment that I realized, you know what? I'm on the right path, because this guy is clearly much older than me. He's traveling, I'm traveling at the same time. I was 14. I was going to my grandma's house over the summer, and I would take the train. So I had him as my passenger, and it was just an interesting, really deep conversation. And at 14, I've always had an old soul, so I listen to a lot of the older people talk, and I've gained a lot of wisdom throughout my years, even at a young age. So I apply it now that I'm 34, and I feel like it's just that much more sharp. That I think a thing is too is a lot of people are very logical thinkers. So they see from point A to point B, and there's all these little things in between. But the more that you develop with God, and the more that you develop wisdom and understanding and life experiences, and you go through things that are supernatural, or you go through things that are just physical, mentally, emotionally, you don't necessarily have to go through every little thing logically all over again. Instead, you can jump from platform to platform to platform, and you're just jumping leaps and bounds ahead of time that you can make up and accelerate your life in the process. And I've done all that because I've studied the Bible. I understand what wisdom is. I was a big fan of King Solomon. Like, I wanted to be the wisest. I could maybe never be the wisest king, but I wanted to be the wisest person when it comes to this. Just this life in general. I wanted to give God my all. One day I'm not going to be here, but while I'm here, I might as well do 150%. Like, what am I lacking? Like, why would I lack anything? This life is so short. My younger brother, he passed away on a motorcycle accident, and that was it. Like, he was 20 years old. I got his black Air Forces that are still soaked with blood in my closet. They're not soaked anymore. They're dried up. But I had his T-shirt in there. I got his cracked helmet from when he crashed into the back of that woman's car, and they called it an internal decapitation, which is basically your neck separating from your skull. And not that it came off, but it was under his skin still. But I asked the mortician, and I remember that because I wanted to see him. I wanted to see him because I wanted to try to bring him back from the dead and pray over him and be like, Lord Jesus, if it's his time, it's his time. And she just looked at me, that morgue, the mortician lady, and she just said, you know what? You don't want to see that. And I said, well, why not? And he's like, he is so bad off that you might not recognize him. And I said, oh, okay. And I just felt that was the confirmation that, maybe that wasn't the move. And I'm glad I didn't see him, but I did see him in the open casket. And, I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent a little bit, but I'm just trying to share the world that there's a realness to who I am as a content creator. I'm not just doing this for clicks. I don't care about the followers. I am not, like I said before, a cookie cutter, perfect Christian, perfect white teeth, perfect smiley faces, la 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 la, greeting at the door. Not that kind of person. I want to be real and authentic. When my brother died at 20 years old, God gave me him. I watched him when he took his first breath, and unfortunately I was not there when he took his last one. And I changed his diapers. I taught him how to walk and talk, and I was this perfect big brother to an extent. I was still young at the time, so I would, pick on him and laugh at him and hang out with my friends and try to make sure he stayed inside the house while we all went and rode bikes. It was like little things like that. But I regret that. I regret that a lot. And I just feel that like there's a lot of realness to life, and it's not guaranteed. God, it's not guaranteed for everybody. That he died at 20 and I made it to 34. Some people make it to 90 and 100, and some people never even leave the womb. And it's this reality of life. And just because I'm knowledgeable and just because you've given me wisdom does not mean that I can't be taken from life. Now, I'd rather live a life with wisdom than not have it at all. But, at 20 years old, looking back on it, it feels like it's a whole lifetime ago. Like, that's not even who I am. That was me when I was just making dumb decisions. And he died in the midst of dumb decisions. He never got to experience the longevity of life, to experience the experiences that you get out of life. It's like planting a tree. Somebody tells you if you do this, it'll grow into a tree, but you never live long enough to see it a tree. And that is a sad, sad reality that somebody died before they actually got to experience what their life could have been about. Now, of course, God's timing is perfect, but also my brother had free will as well. He did not have to ramp up his R1000 bike and try to speed along, and then that woman cut him off, and then he ran into the back of her car. These are all his choices. God did not force my brother to do any of those things. I can't be mad at God for my brother's decisions. Free will is real, and I have to experience it for what it is. It hurt. It sucks. I'll never see him again. He'll never see my son. He will never experience time with each other on the back porch or, doing grill outs and hot dogs and hamburgers. That will never happen. He'll never be an uncle. I'll never see him have kids. It's over. It's done. And I wish more young people saw that, because a lot of people, they think that they're immortal, that they're absolutely invincible right there and then, God. And they're not. And it's not until it happens. So I've always been very cautious. I've always been the type of person, if you tell me the stove is hot, I'm going to assume that it's hot and I'm not going to touch it. If you tell me drugs are bad, I'm not going to do them. If you tell me this is not a good business decision and give me a good reason as to why it is or isn't, then I won't do it. I want to make sure that these are the best decisions, the most logical moves that I can make. And of course, there's a moment as well that these logical moves that I make are never going to be perfect. So Lord God, I just pray that you just be with this account. Continue to bless it like you have. In the last 28 days, I'm almost at 60,000 new subscribers. We've hit over almost 15 million new views on just YouTube alone. We've hit millions on Instagram, millions on TikTok, and millions now actually on Facebook. And it's like the world is hurting so bad that they're paying attention to what I have to offer. And as a human, I feel like I don't have anything to offer. But in the comments and in the responses that I get, this world is hurting so bad that even in my lack of understanding the complexity of the pain, I'm over here still not fully feeling equipped. But you're over here telling me that I am, that I'm enough, that I can do this, that I need to produce this content, that these people are truly hurt and lost. And you just need to be a mouthpiece. You need to be a piece of conduit that I can flow through and reach the people. Speak, Jesse, speaks. Say something, because people are listening. And even when you don't think that they're listening, they're paying attention, because they're hurting and they need help and they need guidance. And you don't think that you're good enough, because the devil is telling you you're not good enough. But you are good enough. And the person listening is good enough that we can make a difference that there's so much evil and so many layers of intricately woven evils in this world that it feels like our existence and our time span and our lifespan is never going to be long enough to fix or unravel the darkness that is already pre-existing in our world today. As if these evils have always been here. These evils started in the Garden of Eden. So just because we're born into this time doesn't mean we can't start unraveling it for what it is, exposing the evil for what it is, and start making a difference in people's lives. Because when the world is at its darkest, the light shines the brightest. And that is the most truth that I can think of and conjure up right now, is that it seems so dim and so dark that we'll never get out of this abyss. But that's when you shine the brightest.